People that know me know that I absolutely love the West, whether it's in Canada or the United States. There's something about it that simply can't be beat. It's the people, and of course, it's the fishing. Well, guess what? We're back. We're guests of Blake Jackson, the Crazy Rainbow Lodge, and Ugly Bug Fly Shop, and we're on the make for big browns, rainbows, and of course, the famous cutthroat that this region is known for. This big fish adventure starts right now on the New Fly Fisher.
Ooh, that's a nice sized fish.
I will catch these all day.
That is what you're in for on this episode.
The New Fly Fisher is supported by Crazy Rainbow Fly Fishing, Orvis Fly Fishing, Adipose Boat Works, Scientific Anglers, Trout Unlimited, WeatherTech Canada.
Just outside of Casper, Wyoming, there sits a house on the banks of a river. Surrounded by vast fields of grazing cattle, rugged bluffs, with great fishing literally at your doorstep. Crazy Rainbow Lodge is an oasis in the western desert for fly fishers. This ranch-style house is considered home away from home to many anglers the world over. It's fully equipped with no amenity left behind. Just downstream from the main lodge sits what is affectionately known as the River Cabin, a quaint cottage right on the bank of the North Platte River. For those looking for a smaller, quaint, quiet getaway, the River Cabin is for you. Equally outfitted, the River Cabin is perfect for couples and smaller fishing groups alike looking for a true Western getaway. Whichever place you choose to hang your waders, they are both located in prime location to access all that the North Platte has to offer. Be they the quality of fish at the Miracle Mile, the quantity of fish in the reef, the intimacy of a walk-in wade at Fremont Canyon, or the lure of giant browns in downtown Casper. It's all right here at Crazy Rainbow Lodge and River Cabin. On this Wyoming adventure, we are fishing the North Platte and surrounding rivers in as many different ways possible. We begin with co-owner and good friend Blake Jackson hunting giants on the famous Miracle Mile. Blake Jackson, co-owner of the Ugly Bug and Crazy Rainbow Lodge. Blake, we're in the upper reaches of the North Platte. What do we got going on today?
Yeah, up here on the mile, we got a little bit of everything. We got a good little trico hatch this morning.
Nice.
We should have a good day.
So up here, it's quality versus quantity, is it? What are we targeting today?
Primarily rainbows, but we got some really good brown trout up here too. Obviously some carp.
All right, so nymphing to start?
Yep, nymphing to start.
Sounds good, man.
And pretty run-of-the-mill, fast water, noticeable take, soft water, softer take sort of thing.
Okay.
But don't hesitate to really pin them on the hook set.
Okay.
A lot of them like to come airborne as soon as we touch them, right? So they're gonna come up in the column and start jumping. Trout eating salmon eggs, you know?
Yeah.
They're all eating sucker eggs and chasing suckers. And when that's going on, we might see a 2,000 to 3,000 fish increase in population. Right. They're in the river system for a month and then they're out again. We get the same in the spring with rainbows leaving the reservoir to come up to spawn, and the same in the fall with browns leaving the reservoir. But generally fish numbers will be between 800 and 1,200 fish a mile.
Oh, so pretty high.
Yeah, relatively high. Yep.
Come off. It's August and it's hopper season on the North Platte, and the tricos are just about to start. As per normal at this time of year, expect to nymph early until either the trico spinnerfall happens or the river starts to warm and midday winds start to blow. The fish will be looking up to eat hoppers later in the day. We're seeing success nymphing early. Oh, you're right, Blake. You know, at the beginning of this run, Blake said, really watch your indicator because in the faster water, it's going to be a real violent take. And then the slower water set on any little tick. And that's what happened here is that indicator just moved ever so slightly, huh?
Barely bounced, yep.
And with 3X, you can, oh, good fish. With 3X, you can lean in on them. Wow. And I've got the drag cranked.
Good hot fish. Nice.
Oh my gosh, what a gorgeous fish. Look at that. All right, let's take a look at this guy. Oh, he's fat. I can barely get my hand around him.
Yeah, good shape.
Not a bad way to start the trip here at Ugly Bug. Great fish. All right, let's get him back. So let me show you the fly rig that we have going on here. We've got a jig head pink worm here. The water is dirty, so that's why we've gone with something really bright. Then we've got a nice little red larval worm, really. That's what that fish ate. And then because we're in Wyoming, we've got 3-fly rig. Then we've got a little caddis larva here on the end fly. So, but that fish ate the red. Good times. Is that a talkable point too for you, Blake? That having tailwaters that you can fish all season is really beneficial versus freestones that tend to warm up through the summertime. Is that something that's relevant here? Or?
Oh yeah, totally. Without our dams, we wouldn't have a trout fishery.
Right.
It'd be way too warm, water way too low. Yeah, I mean, there's often, I guess, some negative aspects to tailwaters, right? And
yeah.
I think a lot of people don't, realize that, a lot of these western rivers wouldn't necessarily hold fish due to water temperature and that sort of thing. They'd hold fish, but it'd be chubs and carp, not trout.
Like I said, it's a quality game versus a quantity game here on the Miracle Mile, and we got a good one on. It's a big fish, big rainbow, and just crushed this fly.
Push at you just a hair. Probably got one more kick in him here, I would guess.
Oh, look at that. Good one. Nice.
Yeah, he ate that caddis nymph. It's called a bird's nest, so it's like a kind of a fuzzy, woolly looking hare's ear with a little gold bead on it. But he tattooed it right out there in the middle of the current.
Yeah, he did, and you're right. As soon as those big fish eat, they really do tend to run to the center of the river, don't they?
Yeah, they know big boulders and current are their friends for sure.
Right, let's take a look. Great fish. Hot fish.
Yep.
They are airborne. What fun. We're just at the pullout. You gotta love pullout fish, Just when you think you're about done for the day, you get one more shot at the can. Another nice rainbow. Are you surprised we didn't see any browns today, Blake?
I am surprised. Yeah, we got a little higher ratio of browns up here, but browns have been real active today.
Well, these guys are active and they're super fun.
Come on up, buddy.
Nice.
There you go.
That's a good one. Oh boy. Nice fish. End of the day heroics. We've had a great day here up on the Miracle Mile. We're just about at the pullout along this chalk bluff. It's gorgeous, idyllic fly fishing scenario, and we got an eat. Oh, yeah. Yep, still does. You know, one of the things about fishing here is you are gonna have trouble with moss. We've had, moss on our flies all day, but you know what? If you're cool about it and just, swing it off or pick it off, you can get through it and get really quality fish.
Yeah, and this time of year is when we, see the majority of it, right? It dissipates again in September, and we don't really have an issue in the
But that's part of the game.
But that's part of it in the summer, yeah. Most western rivers are gonna see some sediment and some moss.
Yep. All right, what a fish to end the day here at the Ugly Bug. This is awesome. So amazing. All right, let's take a look at this guy.
Great fish, Mark.
Yeah, yeah. As we said this morning, it's quality versus quantity, right? And that's what it's all about. The next day we're up early and out to Fremont Canyon in hopes of catching the Trico spinnerfall. And although we didn't see any heads this morning, we passed the time nymphing and come tight with a couple of big rainbows in a very small section of the North Platte. Tiniest little tap here on this indicator.
Like, it was super soft.
Super soft. You stay out of there, dude. Want to keep them in the slack water. Well, that nice fish.
Good fish.
I do not want him to go downstream.
Yeah.
At all.
I'm trying to.
So these small streams here just outside of Casper are really fun walk and wade opportunities. And it's on public land, which is amazing. And you can get into absolute giants, big rainbows and browns here. And that's what this little creek is known for, is big fish. How do you like that? That is incredible. Oh, Blake, what a fish.
Good fish. Gorgeous.
What did it eat?
Little purple magruber.
So is this fish indicative of what you can catch here? Is this an average fish, or how does this rate?
Yeah, I would say this one's a little above average, but a very, very solid fish anywhere in the country.
Look, he's blind.
Oh, you're right.
He's a blind fish.
Got one bad eye, doesn't he?
All wild, right?
Yep.
All wild.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So Blake, we're talking about where to fish upon approaching a run like this, and that fish definitely was on the inside, wasn't he?
Yeah, inside edge and kind of down here in the bottom end of it, the tail out sort of thing. So super kind of soft water, but just enough current to provide a food source, and pretty soft take.
Super
kind of
soft
goes
take,
in hand with softer water, but that one was really subtle.
Yeah, really cool. Ooh. Oh, that felt fishy. So I just had my, handed to me fishing dries, fishing these tricos. We were fishing a big fish on a far bank and just couldn't pattern it. It would eat and then it would disappear for a minute, then it would eat and disappear for 4 minutes, and then, so we decided to come up and start nymphing again. And this is a unique situation because we've got a back eddy in front of me and faster water in the middle. And you need to understand how to get that dragless drift. The mending is the best way to do it. And one of the things that I use to understand whether or not you need to mend upstream or downstream is a very simple reference to an automobile. It sounds crazy, but it's true. If you've got water in front of you that's slower than the main current, you slow down, which means you mend down. You never slow up, do you? No, and you're driving a car. Just the same as if you've got fast water in front of you, you never speed down. You always speed up, so you mend up. I think that's a really interesting way to remember which way you need to mend when you've got varying current speeds in front of you.
When we're in Wyoming, we reference it by a horseshoe. So if the line is developing a horseshoe, basically the line between you and the bubble or strike indicator is developing a horseshoe downstream, mend the opposite way of the horseshoe. So If it's developing a downstream horseshoe, mend up, and vice versa, upstream horseshoe, mend down. Keeps a nice even dead drift.
Oh my gosh, it's going all over the pool. Nice fish, big
Good
rainbow.
fish.
So we started nymphing the tail of this run and didn't pull anything out, so I started throwing on Blake's recommendation to come up parallel with this rock shelf and throw it up into the white water and let it come down, and 2 drifts and there you go. Oh my gosh, these head shakes. And this is a big fish, Blake.
Good fish.
You want me to
Really
walk you
good
down to that
fish.
softer water?
Yeah, about right there is perfect. We can keep them out of this moss. Laying them right out here in front of me will be ideal.
Big wild rainbows. These are just perfect, perfect, perfect. Nice, good job. All right, let's take a look at this guy. Strong fish, hey Blake?
Gorgeous fish, yeah, awesome.
Whoop, yeah, I know. Almost
Spunky.
can't even get my hand around.
Yeah.
Awesome fish. On the MacGruber,
Yep.
good fly, awesome fight. As the day warms up, we make the decision to pack it up and hit the famous section of the North Platte called the Reef. One of the things that I absolutely love about fishing out of the Ugly Bug is that you've got a variety of things that you can do in a day. For example, this morning we were in Fremont Canyon fishing, trying to fish dries, ended up nymphing, but then once it all was over, jump in the truck, head down to the reef for a float, hopper time. So Blake, hopper time. How do you want to fish this? How do you want me to fish these?
Yeah, so primarily on the dead drift, my rule of thumb with hoppers is if there's current against the bank, we'll fish it tight to the bank.
Yep.
If the current kicks off the bank by a foot or two, stick to the current seam. Don't bother throwing it into the dead water on the inside.
So total dead drift, no English on it at all?
Every now and then a little, a twitch, or if you mend it, it sometimes helps, but generally they won't eat it on the mend. They'll still wait for it to go dead before they'll come up and eat it.
Okay, and what if we see a fish eating a natural?
We'll surely take advantage of it. I'll, guide you into it, and hopefully we can convince them to eat another one.
So use your eyes, use your ears, and
Yeah.
hook up with some of these big rainbows and browns, huh?
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right.
Oh, lazy. Fun to eat.
Totally.
See them boil.
Absolutely.
Cutthroat.
Cutthroat, nice.
Fine spot, Snake River cutthroat.
That's a good one. I was wondering why it ate so
Yeah.
slow, huh?
Gorgeous little fish. That's cool. Awesome. Oop, sorry. Oop.
As soon as I look away, look back, and the hopper's gone, and there's a ring around where it should be.
Yeah.
Set the hook, I guess. Oh, that's
Cutthroat, part cutty.
hybrid?
Yeah, cut bow.
Nice.
Awesome fish, Mark. This is part rainbow, part cutthroat.
Wild fish.
Yep, so this strain would be a fire hole rainbow that mated with a cutthroat, and the rainbow is the dominant gene, but you can obviously see the cutthroat characteristics in the fish, both underneath the gills here, and its cheek pad, how rosy it is, and then the cutthroat slits here underneath on the bottom side. Nice.
Oh, what a fish. Did you see
Gorgeous.
that eat?
Cool.
Super slow, big fish. Is it a brown?
I think it's a cutty.
Oh yeah, big cutthroat. Nice.
I like it.
Awesome work. The next morning, we meet Ugly Bug Crazy Rainbow Guide Austin Hopt and hit the road. Today, we're floating the famous Bighorn. Good morning. A short drive from Casper, Wyoming, you find where the Wind River turns into the legendary Bighorn. That's the plan for today. We've launched the boat. We're in search for big browns, rainbows, and cutthroat. Today should be an unbelievable day. What's that bottom fly?
It's called a pulsating emerger. It's going to represent one of those tricos this morning.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool pattern. It has a lot of action to it. It's got a bead in the middle of it, and that hackle will pulsate.
You're right. Those were subtle
Subtle
takes,
eats.
huh?
They're subtle. It doesn't move much. Looks like you took the worm.
Yep. Nice fish, Austin.
Beautiful.
Good work, man. Nice, in the hole. So we've got a 3-fly rig system going on here with a crayfish on top, a pink worm, and then an emerger underneath. Here in Wyoming, you are allowed 3 flies, and this one ate the worm. So water's a little off-colored. Pink stands out, and this brown ate. Let's take a look at it. There we go. Beautiful fish to start the day. No red spots on it, huh?
Oh man, absolutely beautiful.
That's a great one.
Awesome.
So that was a fat fish.
That was a fat fish.
Why are they like that?
So up here we have, unlike the Platte, there's a few less fish per mile.
Yeah.
And so with that we get more food per fish, obviously. And so there's less competition, less fish per mile to push those fish around. And so they just feed, and they are, obviously that was a testimony to why they're bigger. And so they just put on more girth per year.
So this is a quality fishery versus a quantity
exactly.
fishery?
You're going to come up here, you might catch a few less fish per day, but they're going to be, it's worth it to come up here and get the quality fish like that one right
Awesome.
there.
Perfect. So I generally like to run on multi-fly rigs, tie the center fly eye to eye. However, in this situation, it doesn't actually work because what happens is it doesn't let the fly ride naturally. The hook is actually pointed down, and it basically renders this fly unfishable. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go against what I believe. I'm going to cut this dropper off and retie to the bend of the hook. When I retie to the bend of the hook, that'll allow that fly to sit upright in the water column the way it's supposed to float, and we'll get a much higher hookup ratio because the fly is not sitting like that. You'll notice while we're nymphing down the Bighorn here that we've got a variety of different kinds of currents that are out in front of us. And typically when you have uniform currents, you can throw in a big mend and it should be fine. But when you've got multiple currents while you're nymphing and you want to leave that nymph in the strike zone as much as possible, you want to do, it's not really a mend, but it's more of an adjustment of your line. So instead of throwing line at an upstream or a downstream mend, it's more of a pickup and a move, so that that indicator doesn't jerk and you're not moving your flies all over the place. You know, you really want to keep those flies as drifting as naturally as possible, and that little adjustment move is a great way to do it without disturbing anything.
Nice, beautiful.
The structure that Austin is having us fish is really interesting, and the fish that we've caught today have come off these drops. So what we've done is we've lengthened our leader to be able to, and sure, we're going to tick a little bit as we're going downstream.
Whoa. Beautiful.
But what's happening is, as soon as that length of leader with the weighted fly drops off that edge, these fish are picking it up, and it's just tons of fun. That's a big rainbow.
Beautiful. Nice
That's
fish.
a big one. So it may be a little bit more difficult to fish when you've got a longer leader on the flat before the shelf, but it pays off when those flies do tumble over, and the result is in the net. Oh, it's an older fish. You can tell right away, huh?
Yeah, it looks like a
Ate the worm.
beautiful mature fish.
Oh my gosh, that's long.
Look at the tail on that fish. That thing is, it's got a nice paddle.
So Austin, the worm has lit it up today, but you want to make a change.
Absolutely. It's getting a little bit later in the day here, and these trichos are diminishing as we speak.
Yep.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this last tricho off, and we are going to put a leech on. We're going to put it on as our last fly today. And what that's going to do is the way our rig sits is our weight's going to be the lowest part of our rig. And this small mohair leech is going to be our farthest fly away from that weight. And so it's going to get more movement in the water, and it's going to entice those fish a little bit to come after it. Sit it, sit it, sit it. Nice fish.
Big head shakes.
Nice.
You knew there was a big one in
I
here.
knew
didn't
there
you,
was.
Austin?
I knew it. I wasn't going to be satisfied till we found him. Nice.
Another worm fish.
Another worm.
So we fished the inside of this seam 4 times, and Austin said, you know what, let's go up and, I know there's a big one in here, let's go up and do the outside of the seam. And our first drift past, we see some awesome rainbows. Whoa, in shallower water,
Yeah.
Austin.
Shallow water, just enough movement in it though that those fish are sitting in it.
Right. Now we changed our flies up a bit. We've had tons of success with the San Juan worm. And you notice that there was some caddis going off, so we've got a purple caddis nymph on, bird's nest. And then the bottom fly, what did you put on as the bottom?
So the bottom fly is a RS2 PMD.
Right.
I've noticed a couple PMDs that's been popping, and they've been a little bit darker, and that's one of our slighter darker patterns. And so threw that on there, and we'll see what he
that's
ate
a big
here.
fish.
That's a nice fish.
Nice rainbow. Now I've got this drag cranked down, and he's still ripping it out.
Yeah, they've been pretty feisty this morning here. Beautiful fish.
Worm again?
Yep, ate that worm.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Pretty work, man. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, great job.
I'll show you the fly. Your basic rubber San Juan worm. Lighten it up today. Absolutely perfect. All right, let's take a look at this fish. Pretty near perfect specimen rainbow trout. Absolutely gorgeous. 17 inches, fat fish. Man, they run right at the boat. There we go, on the reel.
Oh, there it
nice
goes.
Fish. It's just after lunch, and we decided that we're going to do a little bit of run and gunning. So we've got a hopper rig set up and a nymph rig, and we started with the nymph rig, come off another drop, and we got this nice big dark rainbow. That might be the best fish of the day, Austin.
That's a beautiful fish. He ate the caddis too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. That's the first thing we've had to eat the caddis today.
Let's take a look at what a big horn rainbow trout, an ugly bug looks like. Look. Oh, they're just so strong and so powerful. Look at that. It's at 22?
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, so we're gonna let him go. So what we've seen today is 2 patterns. Number 1 is you have to adapt to what the fish are eating. So San Juan worms Austin saw some caddis going off, put on a caddis bird's nest, that got eaten. Number 2 is your setup before the drop into a pool. So I've been casting up into the shallow run before the drop, and almost all those fish are coming up and eating those flies as they tumble off. So make sure your setup's done. If you're casting it at the drop, you're not gonna fall fast enough. So get up above, catch more fish. So Austin, we've seen 90% of our fish today come nosed right up to a drop. You're gonna make a change. What are you doing?
That's correct. So I'm gonna take this small PMD off, and I'm gonna put a depth charge caddis on, and that caddis just has 2 beads on it. One of them's a tungsten, and that's gonna help us get down faster over that drop, since that is gonna be a crucial part of catching that fish on that, is because if we don't get down fast enough, we're not gonna be in that zone.
Right, just gonna go right over top.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
Okay.
A small downstream end of it, good.
All right, we got a good one here, I think. The first one we've had in some of the, sort of this froggy water.
Yeah, most of those fish should come out of that a little faster water.
Where are you going, dude? Whoa, that's a good rainbow.
In this slow water, it gets a chance to sit a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And heat up. Now this fish was on a seam out there, and it was a little bit deeper, and that's why we were fishing it. But yeah, and most of these fish today have definitely been in faster water.
But it doesn't mean you should not fish the slower stuff.
Sometimes people overlook that, and
they think it's froggy, right?
Exactly.
And they just paddle over it.
Exactly.
But you're right, these fish have all been quality fish,
quality
Austin.
fish.
All quality fish. There we go.
Nice.
Nice, good job.
Absolutely, nice job. Nice
On
fish.
the worm again.
On the worm, he ate the worm. Beautiful, heavy fish.
Yeah, that's a thick one. I can barely get my hands around her. Oh my goodness. What a spectacular rainbow trout. All right, so we're hooked up here to a nice big brown trout. As Austin said when we first got going, you know, browns are not the dominant species in the bighorn, but you do have a shot at catching them. And when you do get them, they're generally pretty big, and this one looks fantastic. Yeah! Woo! Oh my gosh,
What a
fish.
Oh. He ate that little pickpocket PMD too.
You did, right?
Yeah, he did. What a beautiful fish.
Oh my goodness. It always amazes me that the biggest fish of the day often takes the smallest fly on the rig, right?
Absolutely.
Just amazing. Okay. Clear this big boy of the rig, and now let's take a look at this giant. How do you like that? What a fantastically large, aggressive, wild brown. So that was a fantastic fish.
Yes, it was. So we were just talking about our setup here and what we caught that fish on. And so we're nymphing today with a 7.5 foot 2X leader coming down to our lead, and we're fishing 3.5 feet. And when I'm measuring that, I'm measuring between the weight, which is right here, and our indicator. And then so after that, we have our tippet tied on, which is 3X, going down to our first fly, which is our crayfish, tying off of the bend of the hook, down to our second fly, which is our San Juan worm in purple, tying off of the bend again, going down to 4X to our small bug, which is a pickpocket PMD, going down and dropping him as our last fly.
And that's what that big brown trout ate.
Did.
Yeah. It's an awesome setup. Easy to manipulate, easy to change your depth with a movable strike indicator, and you can really adjust everything as you need based on the depth of whatever the run is that you're fishing.
Exactly. It's a very universal rig.
Perfect. Accompanying the Crazy Rainbow Lodge is a full-service shop in downtown Casper called the Ugly Bug Fly Shop. A full-on everything you need kind of shop with experts on hand to assist with any basic or technical questions you may have. We have had an incredible couple days fishing with the guys from Ugly Bug. Today we decide to go unicorn hunting in town, floating through Casper in search of big brown trout.
One of the great things about fishing the North Platte River out of Casper, Wyoming is the fact that you can actually float through town. There's a fantastic population of rainbows, browns, and cutbows right through the city of Casper. It's going to be a great day. We're fishing with FORREST LEWTON from the Ugly Bug. Let's do it up.
Hey guys, we're going to be floating through Casper today, here with Ugly Bug and Crazy Rainbow. I'm going to give you guys a little preview of what we're using today. It's mid-August. We're looking for a big brown. What that will entail today is throwing some meat towards the banks, crawdads, stonefly, we got a worm. Kind of short rigging. We don't have any weight on here today because we got that crawdad as basically the weight. So we're going to be throwing up on the banks and also in some of these shallow shelves and fast water. A lot of these fish are in the faster water right now with the warmer days, so they're sitting in the quick fast water, and we're gonna see if we can catch a big one.
Right away, huh?
Yeah, he's wanting to take off.
Wonder if it's a brown or a rainbow. Oh, brown. No, rainbow. Nice.
Cool.
Now, we are hunting big brown trout today on purpose. But you know what? Nice little bycatch of a healthy rainbow trout in the morning.
Yeah.
That is a brown.
It's a cutty, isn't it? Oh, it's a nice cut. Cutthroat.
Nice. All right, let's take a look at this guy. Beautiful cutthroat trout. It's funny because I saw the fish come up, I thought it was a rainbow. And then I saw the spots, I thought it was a brown. And then I got confused about what I was doing. I couldn't tell what kind of fish it was.
Yeah, it's got some big spots.
The reason why, it's a big spotted, gorgeous cutthroat.
So it's not the unicorn brown we're looking for, but to be able to release a Bear River cutthroat is considered unicorn level in its own right.
It's difficult to get a 3-fly rig close to the bank when you're fishing under an indicator because you're going to hang up on the bank. But what you can do is you can actually throw it close to the bank, get some line out onto your out of your rod tip, and throw a big upstream mend past the indicator so that the fly line actually lifts the indicator and throws it towards the bank. And you can actually place that indicator right against the bank, and the flies will actually swing underneath. So you get some line out, give it a flick, and it gets it really close. Now, to up your game when fishing crawdads, you then throw a downstream mend down, and you can twitch it as it's going down the bank to emulate a fleeing crayfish. Out in the shallow part, not up against a grass bank. Shallow riffles. Nice little rainbow. Super hot. Thank you, sir. Now, we're running a 3-fly rig. We've got a crayfish up top, we've got a leech underneath, and a squirmy worm on the bottom. Ate the squirmy worm, good fish.
Hey guys, it's about 11 o'clock. We've been nymphing most of the morning, throwing big nymphs, crawdads, and leeches. Caught a few fish, nice cutthroat, a couple smaller fish. We're gonna switch gears and go to streamers using a sink tip and fishing the same kind of water off the banks and in the quicker riffles. But We'll try some different speeds and techniques with our streamer fishing. We'll start off probably with some quick strips and see if that can produce a big brown.
So Forrest, how do you want me to fish this?
So what we're going to do, Mark, is we're going to try to get that streamer as close to the bank as we can. A lot of these big fish are sitting right on the bank, and usually you'll get them on the first or second strip. And what we're going to do is, as soon as you hit the bank, it's going to be a quick strip, quick strip, quick strip off the bank, little pause, quick strip, quick strip. You know, and you're trying to get that big brown predatory instincts to kick in and think that there's a little fish in his area. So that's what we're gonna do.
One of the things to remember when you're fishing streamers for browns is you will often see a brown chasing your streamers. And it's important that you keep the same cadence, you keep the same rhythm of retrieve that caused that fish to come out after your flies in the first place. A lot of times anglers will switch things up because they see a chaser to try to entice it to eat right away. That fish is already interested. You don't need to change anything in your cadence of your retrieve to get it to eat those flies. Nice rainbow. Streamer fishing is fun. It's work. You know, it's not the prettiest fly fishing in the world, but it is an effective way to catch great fish like that rainbow. Sweet fish, Forrest. So the cadence is important, right? So it was a strip, strip, pause, and as soon as I started again, that fish ate. And he was there with a strip set, boom, great little rainbow trout.
As the day wears on, the big unicorn brown eludes us. That's trophy hunting. Might as well swing for the fences, so we switch to a hopper.
And there he is.
So we decided to switch gears in our search of unicorns today and go up to the reef and do some hopper fishing. We got this little, wow, what a jump. That's a big fish, Forrest.
Yeah, that's a good fish. He's like, and there he is.
He was right where he was supposed to be, right? Right off the edge of that grass.
Yep.
Off that Russian olive. And he didn't eat it aggressively. Very, very subtle eat.
He's wanting to get in that moss. Get back in here.
Get out of that grass. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's reset this, hey?
Yeah.
Great. Rainbow trout on a hopper. All right, let's get him back. Everything's good.
Fishing the North Platte River out of the Ugly Bug Fly Shop and Crazy Rainbow Lodge, the equipment you need is as follows: 5 to 7 weight 9 to 11 foot fly rods to cover nymphing, hopper fishing, and throwing streamers. A variety of leaders from short 6 to 7 foot 3 to 2x leaders all the way to 12 foot 4x leaders for dries. Tippet should match your leader setup and fly choice. It's our final day with Ugly Bug Crazy Rainbow fishing, and we get paired up with head guide Ty Hallock. We decide to continue with our trophy quest on streamers nonetheless.
This is Ty Hallock. He's the head guide here at the Ugly Bug. Ty, we are on the North Platte once again. What's the plan for the day?
So today we're going to start off throwing streamers at the bank. Water temperature's getting a little warmer, a little higher. So these fish are kind of pushing into the quicker water. Right. They're ambushing bait fish, so you know, the suckers are getting about right size so the bigger fish can start eating them. Our flow is up a little bit, not super high, but they have dropped it in the last month. So that kind of concentrated the fish a little bit more. So.
Right, so we're unicorn hunting today. We're going for a big brown. You've had some awesome success this year. We're gonna see if we can duplicate a big brown trout here on the North Platte.
Yes. So when we're streamer fishing,
you have a weighted sinking line, especially here. You can do a floating line with a leader that's connected that sinks. I like the integrated sinking line because you don't get an extra hinge point from the floating to the sinking line. When you get that integrated line, it's real nice and smooth on the cast. So you're a lot of times throwing a lot heavier flies. I always tell people when they're starting to streamer fish and they really want to get better at casting, it's a great opportunity because like you're casting constantly. You're not sitting there watching an indicator. You're not watching a dry fly. It's all feeling and touch. So when I have people first starting, when they pick up that rod, I just have them watch that line in their back cast. And when they see everything start to drop, that's when you can go forward. And you really want to feel that rod build that power, and all your power should come through your thumb. So you're going to pick it up, and as soon as that fly line kind of starts dropping, that's when you go forward. And it's a lot more tension on that back cast. You're waiting and then going. So when we streamer fish, you want to get within an inch or two of the bank, and you kind of want to angle backwards. That does two things. It gives you a lot longer drift, so you're not casting straight 90 out and it's a short path. This way it kind of gives that fly a little bit of bounce coming down back towards the boat. So you're going to angle back, and then as soon as it hits the water, you want to start stripping. Now some guys do like little strips, some guys do long ones. I kind of like a modified of both. I keep that rod tip down and just keep it pretty smooth and pretty fast. Especially like behind like little flow constrictions, like you'll have like a rock or something, and then you'll have that water kind of slow down right behind it. You want to put it sometimes right in that little pocket behind that rock where it goes from fast to slow, because a lot of times those fish are going to be sitting there waiting to ambush something.
You're just looking for any sort of difference in the bank, right?
Yep. You don't really see a lot of structure in the water, but there's some structure underneath. So you'll see that switch from fast to slow water. And you want to kind of go through all three levels of that flow. So you'll chuck it into that slower stuff, go through the fast stuff, and then you're back into the slow, deeper part. A lot of times, especially in the summer, they'll sit in that kind of faster water and ambush stuff because there's a lot more oxygen right there for them. So they sit in that fast water getting oxygen, and then they're trying to feed.
So this is streamer fishing. Whoa, that's a donkey. This is streamer fishing. Fishing for unicorns. It's a low percentage game, but if you can hook up, chances are they're going to be good. And this one is big rainbow. Now Ty's got a little fly called a red-headed stepchild on here, and we've got a crawdad trailer on it. Looks like he took the top fly. Oh, that's a big fish, man. That's a really good fish. And that's the thing about, you know, fishing these streamers here on the North Platte is you really are trophy hunting. And this, I can absolutely say, is the biggest rainbow of the trip. Wow. Unbelievable. So if you put in your time, throw a ton of streamers, a ton of casts, you'll be duly rewarded. Let's take a look at this guy. You can't even get your hands on him.
I can't even get my hand around him.
How do you like that? Oh my heavens, what a giant, what an absolute giant rainbow. Good fish. Stud rainbow trout. See you, buddy. Ty.
Nice, dude.
Absolutely awesome. So streamer fishing on the North Platte, put in your time and you will win.
Yeah. Mark, we're gonna switch over to hoppers. We just got kind of out of the best water up there. The water down here gets a little flatter, a little wider, and these fish have been kind of pushing up on the banks a little bit more. So we're gonna try a hopper.
Wow, in that shallow water at the head of the bucket, Ty.
That was awesome.
That was unbelievable.
You could have set your calendar that one.
Wow.
Gee, it took you forever to eat it.
I don't know what it is, but they seem to be like that, right? I don't know. Do you think it's because it's been so hot?
Yeah.
That's a good fish. So the temperature's, you know, well into the 90s, mid to high 90s. And, you know, we are hunting unicorns today. Looking for big fish on hoppers, and
He didn't like that.
we got one to eat. Oh, what a clean, good looking fish.
Yeah.
Now, rainbows, browns, cut bows. That is a cut bow, and a fine one at that. See you, buddy, thanks. Awesome fish, Ty. Now, I want to show you the fly that we're using for that. This is a black chubby Chernobyl. You can see the body of it's black with white legs, and the hair on top is just so that you can actually see the bug in the water. Now, what's interesting about this is not 5 minutes ago, Ty had a little friend come and land on him, and it's this stonefly. So you want to talk about what we're trying to mimic, what kind of match the hatch we're trying to do today on the North Platte? That's it perfectly. Big stoneflies and a big chubby Chernobyl landed that beautiful, beautiful hybrid trout.
Yep.
Wow, right on the foam line. That is amazing. Oh, jumper. These fish, even though it's warm, they are hot. That is the truth. It's funny, you know, we've got a little PMD emerger hanging off the back of this chubby, and nothing's touched it all day. That's all right. I love to see the eat. Love to see the eat. Now, Ty's doing a great job of prepping me for what's coming up and what to shoot at. So I was still in the middle of my previous drift, and he said to me, there's a foam line coming up, get ready, go. And that's where this fish was, sitting right on that line, right on that seam. Nice. Good job. Thanks, Ty.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
Good job.
a good one. Thank you, sir. Let's take a look. Very nice. Now, it is August, sort of mid-August. Is that typically your hopper season?
Yeah, it started kind of early this year, and then we just haven't had a ton of moisture, so a lot of these hoppers kind of just vanished on us. But now it's starting to heat back up a little bit, and all the grass around the river is dead, so those hoppers are moving down to the river.
And it's interesting also because the, nice little guy, because the wind has just picked up this afternoon, blowing some hoppers in the water. And there you go, there's the result. Black chubby Chernobyl, wonderful rainbow trout. Well, that about does it for this episode of The New Fly Fisher. Thanks for watching. I want to thank Blake Jackson and his entire crew of amazing guides for this unbelievable adventure. Remember, adventure is out there. All you need to do is go and find it, and what better way than to do it with a fly rod in your hand. For more on our series, check us out at www.thenewflyfisher.com. My name is Mark Melnick, and hopefully we'll see you in the West.
The New Fly Fisher is supported by Crazy Rainbow Fly Fishing, Orvis Fly Fishing, Adipose Boat Works, Scientific Anglers, Trout Unlimited, WeatherTech Canada,